I want to tell you something. I used to wonder about Rose's ravings, her nervousness, her fear of death. The myth of the three mothers.
What's that?
She has a fixation. 3 Latin names. Mater Suspiriorum, the mother of sighs. Mater Lacrimorum, the mother of tears. And Mater Tenebrarum, the mother of darkness. Everything is ready, my darling. Do not be afraid. Soon we'll be together again.
Tastes as dry as hell.
Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Disco Richard. I am here with Disco Simon, and we're going to be burning it up at the Disco Inferno. Hi, Simon.
Yes, it's an A24 420 Blaze it. Oh wait, it's not about them, is it? No, I have a bit of trepidation here. I know we want to get started on this podcast. We have a lot to talk about, but I don't know about you, man. I do not know what price we may have to pay for what is it, breaking what we podcasters call Silentium. Or do we call it mute?
It's muddy.
Yeah, that'll do.
I don't know. But we need to talk about Rob Zombie's The Third Motherfuckers.
Oh boy, yes.
But seriously, folks, it's Inferno 1980. We're continuing to talk about the Third Mother trilogy. Thanks to our pal Glenn Del Rossi for inspiring and making this happen. 6 hours from now, when we're done with this episode, we'll probably be less grateful. Whoops. But this is Dario Argento's Inferno, written by Dario Argento, Dardano Sacchetti, which we'll talk about his actual involvement later. Good old Thomas De Quincey, the Confessions of an Opium Eater guy, but more importantly, our uncredited pal Daria Nicolodi, who decided not to fight for her actual credit on this, but I think she should have.
Maybe they had said, okay, you have to fight a bunch of cats, but if you lose, you go uncredited.
And then it looked like she lost. Yeah. Or rather, her stunt double lost.
Yes, quite.
Yes, so spoilers if you haven't seen Inferno, because, oh my god, I have to play this trailer that I found.
Oh boy, it's gonna take me about a month to recover from this.
This is 2 minutes. 2 minutes of VHS trailer. I don't know what company. I have no idea what company this is that did this nonsense. But it just shows every surprise in the whole movie in 2 minutes. Here's this insanity.
If she had only known, Rose would never have moved in here. Rose never would have known if she hadn't read that book.
Is that story just made up, or is there some truth to it?
Did it upset you? It's nothing more than a book written by some alchemist. Lots of books have been written for the damned.
But Rose knows now, and she's trapped here in a deadly inferno.
I used to wonder about Rose's ravings, her nervousness, her fear of death. The myth of the three mothers.
What's that?
Rose read about them in an old book. And she talks as if it were a true story. Rose thinks that someone living in this building... No, I can't explain it. She'll have...
Evil smolders beneath this house of hell.
The land upon which the three houses have been constructed will eventually become deathly and plagued. And that is the first key to the mother's secret.
That book mentions a horrible odor, for example. And all around here, there's a very strange, bittersweet smell.
You got the first clue, Rose. Want to try again? for 2, Rose. Too bad you struck out on number 3. Now your brother's search leads him to the 3rd and final secret.
You were looking for me, just like your sister. This is what you wanted. I'm coming to get you.
Tell me who you are!
The 3 mothers. Haven't you understood? But men call us by a single name. A name which strikes fear into everyone's heart. Death! Death! Death!
Didn't your mother tell you never to play with fire? Inferno. If you can't stand the heat, stay out.
Okay. Speaking of VHS, I have a VHS plot description, which I don't know where I got it from. I have no idea. I forgot which tape I got this off the World Wide Web. The master of screen horror, Dario Argento, directs his most controversial work to date in Inferno. Unavailable since 1982, written and directed by Argento, this classic movie plunges deep into suspense and terror as a young woman becomes involved in the occult, which inhabits the crumbling neo-Gothic mansion in which she stays. Did you like how I pronounced occult there?
Love it.
Thank you. And it continues. The terrifying descent into unseen horror... Wait, it's unseen. How did they film it? The terrifying descent into unseen horror also affects her brother in Italy and friends and neighbors of them both. These people have friends? The most disturbing movie from the director of such horror classics as Cat o' Nine Tails, Deep Red, Suspiria, and Creepers is a long-awaited addition to the master's work, available on video. I know the tape from Key Video, it was 2 long columns of text. I'm like, I'm not reading that shit. I'll do the short one. Mm-hmm. No thanks. But yes, what are we else? Oh, we'll run through our characters real quick before we jump into this plot. First up is, of course, Leigh McCloskey, who plays Mark Elliott.
Oh, and that reminds me, before I forget, shout out to Mark. Thank you.
Oh, yes, that's right. We have the other Mark. Hopefully he doesn't have ants in his apartment.
Totally.
Don't follow him. Leigh McCloskey, they keep saying he's known for his work in soap operas.
Seen Dallas? I think.
He was a TV actor.
A couple of Star Trek credits, when you get the thumbnails on IMDb, first things jumping out. But sorry, carry on.
But it wasn't until well after Inferno that he was actually on...
Santa Barbara?
Santa Barbara. It was on for like less than 2 years, and he was in 249 episodes.
Oh, wow. That's like one of those you work like every day of the week, probably, sort of soap opera.
Yeah. Oh, my God, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. So Santa Barbara... Okay, it was on for 9 years. It wasn't... He was just on it for 2 years.
Oh,
okay.
Right, I see. Yeah.
Brain just exploded. In 9 years, there was 2,400 episodes. Or 2,100 episodes. What the fuck? He was in the 80s sort of classic called Just One of the Guys from 1985. Which for some 80s kids was their sexual awakening.
The poster, I think I can see why.
But he was also in a little horror movie I haven't seen for many years called Cameron's Closet.
Oh, this rings a bell.
Yeah, very unusual little movie. But Mark is our music student, and he is brother to Rose Elliott, played by Irene Miracle. She was in Puppet Master, 1989, Watchers 2 from 1990. But her first Italian film was a little movie called Night Train Murders.
Oh boy, it's back again.
Oh boy.
Telling you, man, still waiting for that Christmas episode.
Oh, folks, listen to our Suspiria episode for that story. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be the one who is studying about the 3 witches, and she's going to cause a lot of people's deaths. Maybe she shouldn't have done that. But yes, he's in Rome in music school. She's in New York in fuck around and find out school.
Yeah, sounds like it.
We've got Sarah, played by Eleonora Giorgi.
I'm glad you tried saying that before me. And
Man.
rest in peace. She
Damn.
passed away just at the beginning of this month, actually, aged 71.
She had a bit part in Black Belly of the Tarantula from 1971.
I need to rewatch that. I've only seen it once, so I didn't catch her at the time.
According to some trivia I read, that she was a big get for this movie. She was in a bunch of stuff that was very popular in Italy, so that was a big deal. And Irene Miracle was just coming off of what was her big movie that she did right before?
Midnight Express?
Yeah, Midnight Express. Hey, there's a fun one. Whoa.
I'll tell you a weirdo double feature I had after I'd been at a wedding all day. Went back to my friend's house who picked me up after I'd been day drinking all day. We went back and watched The House by the Cemetery on his projector, which he'd never seen, the mutual friend of ours, and followed it with that, even though I was trying to push them to watch The Shining instead because, well, that made more sense.
Right.
It was an interesting experience. I'm glad I saw it. It's not something I would have gone out of my way to watch if he hadn't sort of insisted on it. But I'm glad I saw it, and that score is fucking great.
Totally. Oh my god. It's cuckoo.
Speaking of pronouncing names, I'll let you go this one. Although we actually hear in the film, so it's probably easier than the previous one to pronounce. The character played by Dario Nicolodi.
Oh yes, we'll do that.
Okay, kind of. I can't think of like a character from. Oh, I don't know, like fucking Rebecca or something like that. Is it Elise de Longval? Elise de Longval Adley.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all of it, but on the interview with Dario on the Arrow Blu-ray, I think she says, "Oh, you're actually meant to say it," and I've slept since then. Sorry, so I totally forgot.
Dude, I have no idea. I was gonna say Longvale. Longvale. But yeah, she's our very delicate neighbor who's got some strange illness, unknown. Like she seems like a character out of like a Victorian, like a swooning kind of like
yeah, absolutely.
character. But she's awesome in this. Oh my god, she's always awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking, and we'll get to it when we get to it, but she appears in the film pretty much halfway through it, and then she's in it for about 15 minutes and she's gone. But it just speaks to, what a great fucking actor she was. You look at her in this compared to like Deep Red. Now she embodies, like such a kind of more timid character in this compared to somebody who is the complete opposite of that in Deep Red, and both kind of so convincingly.
And either way, you can't take your eyes off her. She's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up is Sasha, I'm going to say Pitof. He plays Kazanian, the Krazanian bookseller. He's amazing. This is a Swiss actor. He needs crutches. He's not doing well. He looks very sickly and old and grumpy. He's the bookseller. This is where we're going to find yet another copy of this Third Mother book. Good Lord. It's frickin' what a distribution deal they had for this stupid book. Fuckers.
Yeah, he has like 3 copies, I think, still left until somebody pinches it, obviously.
That's not even the overstock. He has like 3 boxes of them in the back, probably. But this actor was in a movie I had to tap out on because of the sleaze. Same year. Yep. Patrick Still Lives from 1980. I need to just get over it and finish it, but it's just...
I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of its reputation. I've not seen the original either, so...
I know of the vigilance in it, so I'm very hesitant.
Oh, is it with that poor lady whose name I'm forgetting now, who has like horrible face in like every movie she's in? Is it her?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm going to have to look this up now, because I'm pretty sure it is.
Do it. Next up is Alida Valli. Plays Carol, the caretaker, or as I call her, the Carol taker.
Sorry, I was right. Yeah, it's Maria Angela Giordano.
Okay, and she gets.
I'm guessing it's her because who else would it be, really?
Sure.
Poor lady. But sorry.
No. I was curious. So she gets her face melted off in every movie.
Yeah. Or something equally hideous. Yeah.
Poor thing. So yeah, Alida Valli, as we know, she's in good old Suspiria, and she's back, just doing her thing. She's so unique. Such a freaking like presence on screen. She's incredible. Even just like kind of a flashing her teeth in her eyes, that just like will just like cut through everything else in the choppers, bruh. Oh boy, yeah. Next up is Veronica Lazar. She plays the nurse, and she has a very important other role in this, which we'll get to that when we get to that. Unless you watch the trailer, then you fucking know. I know her best from, of course, The Beyond and Last Tango in Paris from 1972. But I forgot that she's also briefly in the Stendhal Syndrome, 1996.
Right, yeah, I just seen this on here. It's a long time since I've seen it, so I never caught her either.
Speaking of fun movies, hey. But yeah, I love her. I could watch her do anything. She's just so, and there's something about her. I can't take my eyes off her. Just like frickin' Dario Niccolodi.
Absolutely, yeah. Was it after she'd passed away, I think, in one of the Fangs of Joy scenes, you wrote a tribute to her, I think?
Yes, there was a tribute to her. I can't remember if I wrote it or somebody else did.
I'm pretty sure you wrote it.
Oh, it's been a long time. Folks, my old zine has been gone for a very long time. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. Next up, we have our boy, Gabriel Lavia, plays Carlo. And when I say our boy, he's not me and Simon's son. Simon and I have yet to produce an heir. Hello? Gabriel Lavia, he was a get to because this was his first acting gig on film in 5 years. He'd become a very renowned stage actor by this time. So he gets to play a very thankless role. He's fun as always, but I could see him like in the makeup and doing his big death scene. Like, I came back for this.
Well, it didn't seem to put him off because after a couple of TV credits after this, his next film was, and I never noticed this, was Zeta. Yeah,
Zeta, dude. Oh, man.
Which may come up again while we're talking about this.
It might. I'm excited. Love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. Of course, I'm going to skip some people because I don't want to get through every single person, but we got to give a shout out to Ania Pieroni, the music student, and I put in parentheses, from hell. Her big scene is incredible. She has no dialogue, but she's absolutely magical. Love her. From House by the Cemetery, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
This cast is that epic. I'm like jumping all over the place here, but somebody I want to mention just in relation to, and forgive me if I sort of as an appendix to this episode, people might want to, if they've not heard it already, go and listen to our episode on the church, which will come up. And I'll try not to repeat myself too much, hopefully. I've not listened to that in a while.
Oh, don't worry about it. That was years ago.
The guy who plays, he's got two names in this. It's introduced by the nurse, who, spoiler alert, turns out to be the motherfucker of dankness. Oh no, darkness. Sorry. She introduces him as Professor Arnold, but he turns out to be Varelli.
Oh yeah.
He was also later in the church as the bishop.
Oh yeah. Thank you for remembering that. This is Fyodor Chaliapin Jr.
Yeah, he's some very interesting credits. All stuff from like those to like Moonstruck to the Name of the Rose. So yeah, he was.
How appropriate that he's in The Name of the Rose.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Absolutely, made the connection. No, it's all good.
You want some monks? I'll give you some monks. Damn. All right, folks. So we're not going to do the entire plot because we'd be here all freaking week. But we're going to do some nice talking here. The movie opens up. It's New York in April, and our pal Rose, she be researching. She be reading that third motherfucker book, and when they show the building that she discovers the location of the third mother, I call it the House of Synth.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
The blast of music. So good.
I love how from like the first shot as well was sort of, drop some clues or whatever, some nice foreshadowing of next to her set of keys. You have is it like a letter opener that Mark will end up using to pry open the floorboards later on.
Oh, yeah. Nice. She lives next door to Kazanian Antiques. And I wrote in my notes, our deals make you Krazanian. She talks to Mr. Krazanian about this third mother bullshit. He's not helpful.
No, his tone is very, especially towards the end, is kind of like a bit standoffish, or even just like, get the fuck out almost, is sort of the subtext.
So he's a New Yorker, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Sorry, folks. I live in Florida. We got enough of you. New York is over here. Jeffrey, get your snowbird ass out of Florida. He would never come. He would never knowingly come here.
Oh dear. But
Good evening. I'd like to talk to you about that book.
Which one?
The one that you sold me. The Three Mothers. Have you read it?
Some of it.
Is that story just made up? Or is there some truth to it?
Did it upset you? It's nothing more than a book written by some alchemist.
But yeah, he indulges her briefly, at least, and they have a little chat until he sort of cuts her off. And I just, again, from the off, this film with the sort of atmosphere, and before he sort of closes the door, there's so many shots in this where it's literally, if ever a film, like Suspiria is ever, every frame a painting, this is one.
Yeah.
And we'll get into, but like the differences of the color palette and the aesthetics or whatever in the look. I'll just say right now, in some ways, I may sort of aesthetically prefer this. There's kind of like a slightly more controlled palette, especially like the sort of blues and reds, and specifically.
We'll talk about that.
And it gets complicated, especially because with the home video history of this film and like the various versions and different sort of color timings. But I'll just read this now, if you don't mind, if I can find it wherever the fuck it's gone. About the look of this. Now, this is on a page from a website called originaltrilogy.com, and it was to do with, because now there's like a 35mm 4K scan of a 35mm Italian print, which is out there if you know where to look. And well, I'll just say it because this is like, I'm not going to encourage piracy or anything here. If you have an actual copy of the film and you can't find this and you want to watch it, just try and find me on Facebook or whatever, send me a message and I'll try and help you find it. But again, only if you own it already. So there's a quote from a guy who's a Danish Argento expert called Thomas Rostock. I believe he's on a commentary for Deep Red. There's like 2 paragraphs here. I'll just try and read it quickly. So he says, having ploughed through several VHS laserdisc and film print incarnations of this, the director's most accomplished visual achievement, seeing this on the big screen by way of the excellent UK print and circulation around 1995 was a truly an astonishing experience for me. Totally blew me away in a way Suspiria couldn't even begin to match. I must say the look of the Anchor Bay DVD of 2000 actually fares much closer to Romano Albani's intended look than the new MGM Fox. Romano Albani, along with Argento, worked hard to achieve a fuller, more lush look than Suspiria, using in particular the 2 new lighting colour gels named Rose, aptly enough, and Deep Blue, introduced into the market in 1979. In short, Rose and Deep Blue are the governing colours of Inferno. However, the MGM Fox transfer suppresses exactly these 2 colours to the point of oblivion, Rose, a dull, faded hue, Deep Blue. If one is aware of literally the hours it can take to light different colour gels in a film set, it is especially disheartening to witness MGM Fox's negligent attitude towards the intended colour-specific look of Inferno. But perhaps even worse is the fact that this is the only transfer making the rounds to all colours of the world commercially through MGM's cost-efficient licensing, and will stand as a misrepresentation of the real beautiful and haunting colour scheme that is at the very heart and soul of Inferno. One can voice many a fault about William Lustig's Anchor Bay Blue Underground releases, but on the visual colour correctional side of things, yes, yet to make a mistake. So that's it, and there are some caveats to the Blue Underground because there's some odd bits in that, and really the point is there doesn't seem to be a definitive home video release of this yet. It's conspicuous by its absence of I think I said this on the Suspiria episode, every film, including the 5 days now, which I actually watched finally between recording our Suspiria episode and this, every major film of his between Red with the Crystal Plumage, just every film even, and Opera is now on 4K apart from Inferno. It's fucking criminal because somebody said in a review of one of the Blu-rays of this, there's an argument to be made this might be the most beautifully shot horror film in colour ever made, and that even includes Suspiria.
Damn. Nice. Very nice.
Coming back to, and this is like a case in point, like I said, every frame of painting, one of my favourite shots is when Rose, she's like stood in the doorway before Kazanian closes it, and even when it's closed as well, how her hair, it is literally more like a rose sort of ready, it's red, but maybe it is that rose color, and there's a sort of blue behind it. It's just so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, nice. Hey, time to go urban spelunking. So she, gets a clue that the keys that she needs are below her feet. She decides to go and look underneath the building.
Now, related to that, just backing up in the beginning bit where she's reading from the Three Mothers, she's sat on the floor. And I think at the end, maybe they repeat the line, the third key's under the sole of your shoes. I think she even looks at her shoes at that moment, just as Dario's director's credits coming up.
Maybe she stepped on something. It's New York.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so she goes underneath the building to look for these keys, or to look for clues or whatever, and the whole thing is flooded. Someone needs to call Joe the plumber.
I'm glad you mentioned the Beyond, because I was going to say, do you think she found Arthur under there looking for keys too?
Of course, this actress was a synchronized swimmer. It alarmed the crew how long she could hold her breath. That's a little trivia for you there. And they were like, is she dead? But no, she could just freaking hold her breath for 1,000 years.
Oh, people wondering if she was dead or dying. That comes to part of the trivia I'll mention later.
Oh boy. So if she drops her apartment keys down there.
I guess that's what they are, yeah. And it's with this very interesting key ring on it. I'm not quite sure what it's meant to be, or just like
looks like an eye made of snakes or something like that.
That would make sense, because she's got, is it like an evil eye necklace on as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's protected. So she goes swimming down in this frickin' insanity underneath the place, the murky waters of this delightful building. She runs into some bodies. Is it one body or is it two bodies? I'm confused.
There's one body, but how it's cut, all the various different angles, you could be forgiven for thinking it's more than one. It's so almost like comically persistent in it, like coming out. But it strikes this great balance. It is kind of almost comic and the look on the corpse, but it's also bloody terrifying at the same time.
And it's a call ahead to Phenomena.
Yes, absolutely.
That waterlogged bod. Now, who the fuck is this body supposed to be? Do we have any clue?
No, I mean, is it just like a previous tenant who also has been diving into the same books and has looked up there? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I was always wondering if this was a thing, because, this movie's very weird.
Oh, there is some stuff that was cut out of this because, well, actually, I'll just mention the trivia bit now. So,
please.
Apparently, Irene Miracle, she was losing some hair because of like a bad fever she had. Now, this led Argento to think that she had some kind of terminal illness and that she was, not going to be able to finish the film. So apparently cut down her scenes, because initially when she was cast, she was said, "Oh, you'll be the lead in this," and obviously we saw how that panned out. Now, some talk, I think, there's a great video Q&A from a screening at, I think it's the New Beverly Cinema, with Tim Lucas introduces it, and does Irene Miracle, and Keith Emerson, who is fucking hilarious.
Nice.
They talk about that they filmed a scene where she finds a body in the park, but that was, I think, apparently cut.
What?
Yeah.
Bless. Yeah, there's a lot that was cut. We'll get into some of the insanity of this. Because when I found out how long the original screenplay was, my jaw dropped, but I'll save that for later.
Interesting.
We see some witchy black gloves making their first cameo. We'll see some more of that. After she gets away from the body and gets her keys back, and she's just soaking wet going back to her place, we hear some whispering voices plotting against her. But we must go to Rome. We cut to Rome at the same time. And my favorite thing about opera class when I was in Italy is it was cat friendly. So I got to bring my cat. And this guy was distracting me with his mustache. And I was staring at him and staring at him. And then he looked like he was going to throw up.
Oh,
that's right, folks. I'm Ennio Peroni.
Was it just me, or do you think Lee McCluskey aged while he's making this film? Because in the first shot, I've got a note where I'm like, "I'm sorry, bro, but you're not fooling anybody with that mustache. He looks about 12 in this scene."
I know. Working with an Italian crew will age an American. Oh,
well, that bit at the end, again, we'll come to, where I think
yeah.
Double, he had an injury, and yeah.
So yes, Lee McCluskey's got his big, chunky headphones on, and he's sitting next to his pal, Sarah. And what ends up happening is he's got a letter from his sister.
Can I just say as well, on with his mustache fashion accessories, he's also got some very nice ties.
Oh, yeah, dude. Very nice ties. Folks, doomedmoviethon@gmail.com. I'll explain that joke to you.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So,
the baseball.
I think they're listening to Verdi. I think Verdi's the big music in this, right?
Yeah, piece from, I've neglected to write down, from Nabucco.
Yeah.
Gets played a couple of times in this. I don't want to get ahead, but Verdi will kind of come back in a Keith Emerson soundtrack cue soon as well.
Oh, thank you. He reads a letter from his sister, but he's feeling sickly because the girl with the cat is staring at him. Now, of course, for years, I thought she was the third mother, just hanging out in Rome, going to music class. But no, Daria Nicolodi says that is not the third mother. Okay. She says that is just a witch that is obviously in on the whole thing. And she's trying to keep Mark from getting involved, probably. That's what I think.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I see it either way. To be honest, in my head canon, it's a bit different because I just think if you were going to get anybody to play that, well, I don't know, like really thinking, let's think about this. Like if you were to visualize between the, Mother of Sighs and Suspiria to Mother of Darkness and this, how the Mother of Tears would really look. I mean, we know how it panned out in Mother of Tears.
Sure.
Without, I'll let you and Jeffrey.
Yes.
When, but basically, she was like some kind of supermodel or something.
Yeah, gorgeous. But yeah, oh my God, Ennio Peroni is stunning. Like, stop what you're doing.
Yeah. No slouch yourself, to say the very, very flippin' least.
So I wrote in my notes, hey, Mark, she is definitely not cursing you right now. So he leaves, and of course, Sarah gets the letter, and this cuts to the progressive rock taxi.
Love it. And I'd ask you a question about this scene. Is it just me, and I may have mentioned this before to you, this, when I first saw it on Blu-ray, and it startles me every time because and I've never seen this in any other film, where there's something about, I was trying to reading up on this to see how it would work. I think there's some phenomena of like chromatic aberration or something, I think it was called, where to me it looks 3D almost in like 2D film. It looks like this image is Luciano Tovoli said he was trying to do this in Suspiria, and I don't know, to me they didn't quite achieve it in quite as striking ways they did here. It literally startles me every time. It looks like 3D on a 2D image. The combination of, like, I don't know, is it the blue and red with like the flashes of light behind her and how she's maybe sat in the taxi cab or whatever. It's incredible.
Nice. I wrote in my notes, she says, "Take me to the library and step on it." Which is actually a quote from David Foster Wallace. Classic. She gets to the library, and it's one of my favorite libraries in a movie. Oh my God, this library.
Oh, this came up on Twitter recently, actually, this library. You may have... did you see where this was?
No, I did not.
I've got to log back into... sorry, I refuse to call it X, but let's not go there.
It's called Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll always be Twitter. I don't care what Lone Mollusk says.
Exactly. So a guy called Adam Scoville on Twitter, who's written a few books on like folk horror and the like, and self-professed film location nerd. A few days ago, he was, I'll just read his tweet. It says, "I was admittedly there for a different job, but it was amazing to see the Biblioteca Angelica today. The sheer wealth of volumes was as breathtaking as architecture. Though I did snap some angles from when it was used by Dario Argento for Inferno 1980, naturally." And he's Adam Scoville on Twitter if you want to have a look at his photos. Oh, another note about this library, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. I think I told you, didn't I? I found a 420 reference in this film. So firstly, when she gets out the taxi, she like pricks a finger on something that has been placed there as the taxi driver in League.
Scary.
There's a quote from somebody else, sorry, just while I'm on Twitter, about Sleeping Beauty and this, which you may have got this in your...
I know, I'm glad you said. I didn't write it down.
There's a quote from, this is another great Twitter account called Sarah Makes People Watch Things at
yes.
Torsoda
Folks,
Pop.
follow.
Oh, God, yeah. Her capsule reviews are just incredible. So she's got a quote here from Argento's Sphere book. It says, if the basis of Suspiria took inspiration from Snow White, in Inferno there was an obvious reference to Sleeping Beauty. So Sir Finger, and in that precise moment, enters a sort of parallel world, enchanted and evil, from which she will never be able to return.
Mm-hmm.
So,
of course, reminds me of the perfume of the Lady in Black.
Oh, yeah, of course, of the tennis racket.
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. So there's this, what would you call, like what do they call them? You know, we have like a stone outside a building with something written on it. What's the fucking name for that?
Phallus.
Thank you, we'll go with that.
I'm going to mix that really loud, so in case people are listening to it out on speakers, they'll be like, whoa, Jesus.
Oh, please do. So written on this phallus, he says, and I neglected to translate it all. It says, Biblioteca Filosofica Fonda. No, sorry, it's not Fonda. Fondazione. But ni pubblico accesso orario. The last word, this is the key bit, I did translate, it means hours. This has the weirdest opening times I have ever seen for anything. It says 8:13 to 4:20, blaze it. I shit you not.
What?
Did they close then to go and, burn Baby Burn, Disco and Fern, 420 blaze it in the basement?
813 is the area code if you're calling my number, y'all.
Really?
Yep. Dude, and I'm always 420 blazing.
Simonicity? Always on
I call it
the
mother of freaking dank chronic.
Oh, the mother of darkness, yes.
Oh my God, folks, of course, as always, we recommend our Idle Hands episode.
I think it's practically a primer at this point for every episode we record, because we just reference it so much.
You can listen to us talking about marijuana for like a half hour. So
Get a
dumb.
contact tie off it, hopefully.
It's so dumb. Anyway, it's cuckoo. Anyway, she's walking through the library, and oh my God, my favorite patron of the library ever is the girl with the frizzy hair smiling at her. Holy shit. Goosebumps.
Oh,
we get people like that in my library all the time.
Oh, brilliant.
I wish.
I wish too for you. You just see like the whites of her eyes or something in her grin. It's just such a great image. I think it is currently my profile picture on Facebook and has been a few times.
Yep.
I think it's always been my one on Instagram. I don't think I've ever changed it.
So she wants to check out a copy of the Third Mother, the Three Mothers book, and the librarian's like, "Oh yeah, it's right behind you, dude."
Oh, and I love how he's just like nodding off and then wakes up when she appears. And this moment always gets me because I basically had this happen to me once. There was no snoozing librarian or anything, but I was quite into the books of Carlos Castaneda at the time. And I was up to, I think it was Tales of Power was the next book I was looking for. And I was in the charity bookstore that I used to volunteering, and it was just at the back of my mind, I guess, and I turned around and it was literally fucking there.
Weird. That's a simonicity.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is one reason I like buzz off this film so much, because it really gives that sense of this sort of magical kind of universe sort of thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Looking for something?
No. Yes. I'm looking for an old book.
Well, what book would you like?
Its title is The Three Mothers. Yes, The Three Mothers.
Why, it should be there, right behind you.
But now it's time to go library spelunking. She goes down into the depths of the library, and typical to all libraries, there's a laboratory underneath.
Of course.
For Al. Do you know Al? Alchemist. Hey, come on. He's got his pots of stew going, so he's got rabbit stew, turkey stew, beef stew, rat stew, cat stew, what have you. If this was Suspiria, he'd have some bat stew.
It would probably all be ended up going down the toilet anyway eventually, wouldn't it?
So the thing about alchemists is they're fucking stupid. No, I just want to say something weird there. No, so this alchemist, he is stupid. Like, he lives forever, but he doesn't like brew up some moisturizer for his hands. Dumbass. But yeah, so of course she shows up where she's not supposed to be, and it would have been fine, but she had a copy of that Third Mother, and he starts chasing her. Why do you have that book, asshole? And I wrote in my notes that she's chased by Christopher Lee from Whipping the Body.
Yes.
Oh, we'll be talking about Mario Bava later, folks.
Absolutely.
She escapes, and she goes back home, and we meet elevator sports coat guy. And this is Gabriel Lavia as Carlo. He totally thinks he's going to get laid. Oh my God, it's so cute, because who could resist him? He's just like a male slut, I guess, hanging around in elevators. I don't know. He agrees to accompany her back to her apartment because she's scared, doesn't want to be alone. Then we cut to paper dolls being cut by the witchy black-gloved hand.
Oh, I love it. And it made me think, because I just recently, when I rewatched this to take notes, I just watched The Monkey, and it's kind of almost like sort of anticipates that, cutting the heads off what it sets in motion.
Nice. What I really like about this is we get a lot of trippy stuff here. In particular, the hanging woman.
Yes.
So this was supposed to be more elaborate. There's a scene I'll talk about in the trivia that was very elaborate. They had to cut because they could not figure out how to do it with the budget they had. But we see this woman hanging, and she's supposed to be part of a series of events that are triggered by this doll cutting thing. And it's just one of my favorite moments in the movie because it's a really important thing we're never going to learn about. Like, we'll never know what that was about. Ever. But we see a lizard getting his moth on, chewing on a moth, which that's the moth is the real victim of this movie.
Absolutely.
So there's a very strange moment that blew my frickin' mind. Folks, when you watch this next time, look at Carlo's frickin' face when the power goes out.
Yes.
He makes the weirdest face because I think they're trying to make it seem like he's in on it. He's they're throwing some stuff around, but the way they chose to have him do that little red herring is very funny.
Yeah, and he's just like slow head turn. And I think it's just something about Gabriel Lavia's expression, and I got this rewatching Zeta last week, how he just almost permanently looks pissed off. There's kind of a bit of that energy going on. It's like, fucking electricity board or fucking students not paying their rent again. Now I'm gonna have to go and like put another coin in the meter for them or something. Cheap bastards.
Well, when you're being dragged down the street by a frickin' construction vehicle and your head's hitting the curb, you're not going to be happy.
No.
Then we have the definitely not at all giallo pair of murders in this giallo. Now, folks, we love to joke about, Suspiria being a giallo because we know it's not, but it's funny to drive people insane by acting like it is just to see. I just love, like, people get so incensed by saying giallo with the context of these films at all. But come on, dude. These murders that happen to Carlo and Sarah are just so giallo it hurts.
They really are. I mean, and it's a bit like, although maybe we've got the supernatural stuff sort of going against that more already in the Suspiria episode, where you quoted somebody saying like Suspiria is a giallo until it's not. And there's kind of a similar thing going on here, I suppose. The
death of Carlo is very funny. He has the knife through his throat. You think he's up to some shenanigans, and you think he's dead, but then he's not. And then he shows up with the knife in his throat, and it's so comedic. Like him asking for help is like basically pinning her to the ground and bleeding on her. It's very funny. Yeah. Oh my God. But then we find out that, man, Sarah knows how to make an entrance, boy. Mm-hmm. When she falls through the thing, she's the one that falls through the fabric, like the fabric tears.
Yeah, that's okay. You see like maybe a bit of like a hand creeping through maybe the blood first, and then she falls out and there's another great, like either sinful like organ swell or like stinger.
Yeah.
Soundtrack.
Falls through the curtain. Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Oh, and it's funny when I rewatched last night. I've watched this twice for this episode. One was to take notes off the Blue Underground Blu-ray, and I rewatched it last night with that aforementioned 4K scanner, the 35mm print.
Yeah.
Unlike the one for Suspiria where the dropped transitions or drop frames, somebody's gone in and they've filled in those bits. I guess because they were quite bigger, the missing chunks, they filled them in with bits from the Blu-ray. This is just the raw print, so there are bits which have not been restitched in from other sources, which makes some of the transition is kind of comical at times.
Okay.
Talking on the phone of, you miss the end of their phone conversation, I think, of like, oh, what's going on? And then, abrupt cut. But the important thing about this scene anyway is we've seen a few title cards or whatever, announcing where we are in April or where we're in New York or Rome or whatever. But this has to be the most important one in the film, where it says, to clear up any mystery or head scratching we might have been doing, lets us know that it is indeed in New York the same night in April.
Gotcha.
There isn't a time lag over the phone of 8 hours or a day.
Nope. It's exactly the same time.
Yes.
Time zones be damned. Sis is in trouble. Rose is in trouble. She's being chased around. She cuts her hand. What does she cut her hand on? I can't remember.
It's the glass door knocker. The top half of it comes off, and it leaves a really nasty gash in her hand. And it's another one of those moments where you'll get it with the locking doors later, where the sort of supernatural force or whatever seems to be almost influencing inanimate objects.
That's cool.
You get more creepy whispering and the silhouetted people.
Yes. And I said, somebody call the frickin' landlord and fix these windows.
God, yeah.
So she's running around and being, pursued, and then she gets. Is this when is she the one who gets the? You think I'd watched this in my lifetime? I swear, she's the one who gets. I'm going to cut this part. She gets killed by the window, the witchy hand.
The sort of almost like guillotine sort of window, and the.
I knew she did, but I couldn't think of it.
I mean, this film, even when you've seen it a lot, it is a bit of a labyrinth. You can almost get lost in. Well, yeah, exactly. And it's easily done, so don't worry. The whole lead up to this, so there's so many great sustained set pieces, suspense set pieces in this, and this might be the sort of apex of it, possibly, certainly for how long it goes on, but not in a way that overstays its welcome. Now, there's some weirdness of. There's an exterior shot of a shop over Kazanian's shop where it's how the fuck has she ended up here? Just with the bizarre, almost maybe House of Leaves sort of architecture.
Sure.
She's been, maybe that's it. She's been, I don't know, teleported over there. This bit before she enters another laboratory, my favourite bit of this, where she walks down the stairway, sees some almost feline, yellow eyes staring at her, which I found out was a Mario Bava painting, drawn on black velvet or something. It's just an incredible image. And then when she starts walking down the corridor, and there's this great 180 sort of whip pan or something to again more creepy shadows veiled under all these layers of plastic and just shit that's because this building's completely decrepit.
Oh man, the city and the county inspectors have not taken a look at this fucking place in a long time. They've been getting bribed not to come by.
They probably have, yeah.
So after she dies, horribly, by the way, Mark arrives to the building, and he meets the ex-ballet teacher.
Oh, yes.
Who's now running this frickin' building. And I don't know why I wrote this in my notes. Musicology, never heard of her. Because Mark studies musicology. I don't know why I wrote that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, though, because it brings me to the introduction of the nurse stroke mother of dankness, who she's wheeling Professor Arnold stroke Varelli around, and they have this conversation in the elevator. Which, by the way, I just wanted to mention, we talked about the colour in this film. Now, there's the red and blue. Also, and especially if you watch this 35mm print scan that's knocking about, the amount of gold and yellow in this film.
Oh my god!
If this is meant to be how it's meant to be seen, and thinking about it with all the alchemical stuff, I can't help but think it really is meant to be, and we've been missing that in a lot of home video stuff. But more on that later. So they have this brilliant exchange, which actually, so I rewatched for the 50th anniversary of Deep Red. I rewatched that very close to this, and I'd never noticed the similarity between the bizarre sort of comic conversation and confusion or winding up whatever that's going on about in Deep Red. Is it a piano playing engineer and all of that, and she just poor David Hemmings, he can't get it through the lady's head that he's a pianist or she's a bit senile or what have you. And there's a similar thing here of she thinks he's a professor of toxicology or something, not musicology, and just doesn't get it, and then just completely patronizes and insults him and his sister.
Is it in Cemetery Man where they keep calling him an engineer?
Yes, the lovely lady at the another connection. Yeah,
love it.
And you, what do you do?
Oh, I'm a student, musicology.
Oh, wonderful. A professor, toxicology. We know 2 other young men.
No, it's not toxicology, musicology. It's got nothing to do with medicine.
What is it then?
The study of music.
Oh, yes. Your sister's involved in rather strange work, too.
Strange? No, she writes poetry.
Oh, yes. A pastime especially suited for women. Goodbye.
In the apartment, Mark starts hearing things. Someone saying, hello, hello. And it's Daria Nicolodi, as Elise whispering, trying to get his attention. Man, the sound design, so cool.
Oh, yeah.
The way this movie plays with sound, and I liked your trivia about them trying to do the quad sound or...
Yeah, it would make, because I think that was a big thing in Suspiria, wasn't it? Which now finally on home video you can get the 4.0 track or whatever, which is obviously not a very common configuration at all. But you do have re-listened to the sort of on headphones last night, the stereo track, and they play with that kind of nicely a bit, quite effectively.
Nice. We get to see how Kazanian lives. And I wrote, in my lonely room, day after day. He's being annoyed by cats, but we'll get back to that in a second. We get more sound waves. Someone's threatening to kill Mark. And wow, my notes fall apart completely.
Let's have a look. So, yeah, just when he arrives, firstly, there's another little occulty reference on the outside of this. This is G.I. Gurdjieff. He stayed here in 1924, apparently. Now, speaking of the cats, are they feeding the cats Rose? Is that what's sort of implied, where you go in and there's this whole thing with the, trying to stealthily wrap the meat up, and this goes to youthful play, and Mark appears.
Interesting. I could see that. I hadn't thought of that.
Maybe they're training them to give them a taste for human flesh for later. Something.
Yeah.
If anybody's confused, they'll think we've gone senile with 4:20 blazed in here. It's not quite 4:20 here. It's 4:11 p.m. We did take a little break, people. So we've not gone completely mad. One thing that I do love, little production design detail here. I love how if you're a book lover, then this film, somebody just keeps messes of books all over your apartment or your house or whatever, you will fucking love this film. Because just like Rose's desk, you can tell she's definitely a poet. And then Mark comes in and he adds some piles of his own to it, including, I thought I spied he had a little Cliff's Note thing in there or something. I could be wrong. He's cheating.
Yeah, that's cheating, man.
The Butler, I neglected to. I forgot. No, we didn't go through the entire cast because it's quite an epic cast. This guy, John the Butler, Leopoldo Mastelloni. I don't know him for anything else. Let me see. Is anything jumping out here? Not a lot of credits, about 22. But he has a great presence in this. And I love his sort of, especially when he will leave a scene, his sort of like creepy looks where he'll just sort of spin for a moment before exiting stage, left or right or whatever.
Another one of these complicit characters, or is he,
yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Elise's death scene is insane. We have all kinds of cat throwing.
Just before that, sorry.
No, it's fine. I can't believe my notes are completely fucked for this. Until we get to the rest of the movie, I have no idea what's happening.
Don't worry, I'll pick it up a little bit then. If before a death scene, like I say, she's not in the film for long, so there's not a great deal here. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this scene, and gives us a chance to talk about the music a bit more. One of my favourite little scenes in it is after she has met Mark and she's been called away to the phone, and I think John the Butler is run a bath or whatever, and then she realises, no, I did stand on blood, and she goes back to speak to Mark. And both sat there like with the lights off, and she's talking about, was it Rose's ravings and about the myth of the three mothers. And I love how when she starts talking about the three mothers, like suddenly this blue light is like covering her all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if, and this ties to, there's a lot of stuff with, Rose swimming earlier on, Sarah when she's absolutely drenched in rain. there's this, again, this maybe some alchemical significance to the water and the colour blue and all of that. I haven't, I don't know a great deal about it, but I believe these are sort of potent symbols within there. So whether this has some meaning for, like, the diving into this forbidden knowledge or something, maybe.
Literally
Yeah.
diving.
Yeah, exactly. I just punned myself. She's talking about this, and Mark, I think he gets distracted or whatever while she's talking by the door handle. And while this is happening, there's this great sort of bobbing sort of camera up and down, like tracking to the air vents, which we'd seen earlier, that allow you to, from the outside of somewhere, speak into another apartment. Presumably the walls literally have ears in this place. Anything you say can be heard, presumably by anybody. And it tracks right into that sort of grill, and then we hear this laugh and this great sort of focus pull out to see Elise sort of stand up into frame, sort of startled. It was like, oh, what was that? Do you hear that laugh? And like I say, Mark is totally distracted by the door knocker at this point. Distracted by knockers, men. What are we like?
No, I love the paranoia. The thing with magic and done well in a movie is you're already fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So the pricking of the finger on a sharp object, or the walls have ears, and that laugh, just blood curdling.
Absolutely, yeah. And I love the music cue over this as well. It's maybe the sort of one of the prettiest in the film. I think it's called like Elise's Story or something. Keith Emerson just bringing the atmosphere and the vibes and all that just brilliantly.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
The blend of Nestle's creamy milk chocolate with crunchies tastes just as good as it sounds.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
So they find the bloodstains outside of Rose's room, and Mark gets ill and totally just passes out.
From the dodgy air vent where somebody maybe has been, 420 blazing it down there quite quickly, and he's he's not used to it.
Or just ripping some farts.
Yes.
It's just a fart joke. But yeah, so he passes out, and then Elise is on her own, which it reminds me, of course, of Suspiria, when our pal Sarah is alone while Susie's passed out. I'm sorry, Susie is passed out. So she gets separated, and she ends up in the room with the cats, and she's swarmed by cats. There was a little thing I didn't write down, but there was supposed to be a shot of a rabid cat earlier in the movie to kind of foreshadow this moment. But I think they just decided either not to film it or they couldn't. So these cats are supposed to have rabies.
Oh, right.
And they swarm her. Dario Nicolodi says, "Oh, that's me in the movie. That's me doing that cat shot. Except for when the cats are on my face. That's my stunt double."
Jeez.
Oh, boy. And then she gets stabbed by an unseen killer, like we do in these movies. I love it. Mark starts to come to, and everyone finds him, and he says it's his heart. And somebody goes, "Oh, his heart? Give him some heart medicine."
But of course.
Yeah, dude, that's what I want people to be like. "Oh, man, you okay? Have some of my nitroglycerin tablets, dude." No, stop it. Get those away from me. I'm going to blow up. Mark dreams of ocean waves, which quite a bit of, speaking of water.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of theorizing and different reviews about that shot.
Right, okay.
I think he just has sand fleas.
Speaking of insects, well, in the next scene, sort of daytime, and maybe one of the shots, I believe aside from a bit in Central Park, the only shots of actual New York, and some of the shots away from the apartment, and he's sort of looking out, and he touches the sort of side of the window frame, whatever, gets ants on his hand, which is a bit of a, I guess, like Shannon Deleu moment or something.
Oh, boy, yeah, now that's why you go to college, so you can be seated in a room with a bunch of people watching that movie. Good times. It's like the most typical what's college?
It really is, isn't it?
Here it is. Oh my god! I wasn't even in a film class. It was a world literature class, and the teacher was showing us a bunch of movies one day. It was fucking hilarious.
No, that mate, yeah, a lot of. In fact, I think out the when I did my film degree, it wasn't under the media department. In fact, they probably looked down the noses at the media department. It was run by the English department.
Oh boy! So yeah, he sees these frickin' ants, and then we get Mr. Kazanian complaining. He's pissed off about the ants too. No. He's complaining about the cats, and they say a mean thing about him after he complains about these cats getting into his apartment. Yeah. But you know what? You can call this guy whatever you want, because he's a fucking asshole. Since they won't call the cat exterminator, good old Kazanian takes it upon himself to. I mean, in his defense, and I put that in lowercase d. He's infested with cats. He's got so many cats everywhere. It's ridiculous.
He should have found a way to make friends with them, though, because then he could, he wouldn't be lonely, and he could become, we have a lot of cat ladies, I guess. He could be the elderly cat man.
Oh man, he could have been hooking up. But yes, he puts the cats in a bag, and this is why I do not watch this movie very often. Cat scares in horror movies is classic. They throw a cat at somebody. I'm not over the moon about it, but I'm like, whatever, it's just a cat. They land on their feet, according to legend. But these cats in this bag are fucking pissed. And even though I don't believe they drowned the cats, they didn't go there, but it's just so creepy. This guy carrying his bag of cats, it's not good.
Because you definitely see that one shot of the cat being that he picks up. It's quite compliant for a while until it's not, obviously, and obviously throws that in the bag, which is a bit not great. I don't know whether I presume the cutaway of the banging the head hopefully is fake. Here, I'm sure. From things that William Lustig from Blue Underground, he was like a production coordinator or something like this. There was some kind of mechanical device he put in a bag that would move around to basically simulate this.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So he takes the cats down to the river in Central Park, and he really wants to get deep in this water. He really wants to get deep because he can't drown these cats properly. And we get the beautiful New York skyline, which apparently was a bunch of milk cartons that Mario Bava made.
Yeah, with like photos stuck on them.
Yeah. Bless his heart. I love it. So he loses his footing. I wrote in my notes, "Arg, my crotch." Oops, I mean crutch. As he's flailing around. Fun trivia here. He was supposed to have wooden legs that were going to float away. That's why he needed the crutches, because he had wooden legs.
Oh, wow. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been great. There's also another moment that I'll talk about later that was like, what? But they cut a lot of stuff from here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the eclipse be happening. The eclipse is clipsing. And he starts screaming for help because, sure enough, the other animals I worry about in this movie are the rats. They start pumping rats in to this sound stage here with... Now, I don't love rats, everybody, but I think, leave them alone.
Yeah.
And this isn't Paul Naschy explaining why he set the rats on fire so gleefully in The Hunchback of the Morgue.
Oh, right, okay.
Paul Naschy's like, those rats were mean. They were jumping up and biting me. I'm like, dude, you set them on fire. Go fuck yourself. I love that movie so much, and I never watch it. I cannot watch it. It's too much.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a occupational hazard, as it were, with watching these films, unfortunately.
Yeah, Spain and Italy, man, they got a lot to answer for. I'm not saying American movies didn't do it, but damn.
Yeah, there's a scene in the Blue Eyes of the Broken Dawn. I think you know which one I'm talking about. That's one of the main reasons I keep putting off rewatching that.
Yeah,
even though I know
I got to fast forward through that. We do know where bacon comes from.
Yeah.
Is it a bacon batty? Is that what you guys have?
Oh God, you're gonna be careful. You're gonna start a civil war over here over this.
I've done this before. We've had this exact conversation before because I love British stuff.
Let's just I found it on. This is on Reddit, on a subreddit called Map Porn. Now, I call it a barm over here. If you're in the south, it's a roll. More in the Midlands, it's a cob. Somewhere right in the middle, it's a muffin. Which I know you appreciate that. A bit further north of there, it's a tea cake. sort of northeast it's a bun, then in Scotland it's a roll again, and in Northern Ireland it's a bap. So
Bap, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
I probably made up batty. I don't know. It comes from watching Keeping Up Appearances as Simon. I think you've heard of that show before?
Oh, yeah, I think so, just about.
Rats start eating him alive, and then he starts screaming for help, and there's a very helpful guy at the hot dog stand because New York is nothing but hot dog stands. He's dressed like Mel from Mel's Diner. He comes running to help with his big meat cleaver, and he doesn't help so much as kills him. And I wrote in my notes, "Hey, don't worry, I'm coming to save you, mister. Forget about it." That's my New York. I sound like an authentic New Yorker there.
Slightly.
So, yeah. Sorry, my notes just made me laugh. I'm so stupid.
No, it's all good. It's
Simon.
Do you think people talk about how he runs across the water? Speaking of water again, which he kind of does. I kind of see it, but maybe not as explicitly as intended. I'm not sure whether it's.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's it'll be easier for the shot if you do this, even though it kind of ruins the illusion of how deep the water is.
Yeah.
Versus, is he Jesus?
Yeah, exactly.
After he gets murderlated by this guy, we cut to the whole plot to rip off Elise from Carol and the John the Butler. They've been trying to rip her off and steal her jewels and stuff. John disappears, and she's like, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" And the lights go out, and she goes and finds him. And I wrote in my notes, "Eyes a poppin'." So this was a cut scene. Supposedly, they're gonna Argento, who does all the killings in his movies because he's a psycho. He was going to be the hands that strangled John the Butler, and as he was strangled so intensely that his fucking eyes popped out.
Oh, wow.
Hilarious. Would pay to see that, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And then frickin' Carol, she does not get an A+ for fire safety. I think she gets an F for a fire fail.
It's almost as bad, in fact, probably equally as what is in the next year with Dagmar Alessandra in The Black Cat, where she's trying to put out, probably again similar to this.
Holy shit.
It's going up the curtains quite quickly, and she grabs a fucking pillow and starts trying to put it out.
Folks, Fulci and Argento, working concurrently. There's a lot of talk about Fulci ripping off Argento in certain ways, but a lot of times it's just coincidence. It's just something really stupid happens in both this and The Black Cat involving fire, and it's amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe the eyes glowing in House by the Cemetery is fully if it's not a ripoff, it's him making fun of Argento.
Yeah, that's probably quite likely.
I don't know. There's no way he just, "Oh, I want that too, dude." So Mark, following the ants in the floor, I wrote in my notes that he's an ant murderer, and if you pick at ants, they'll only get worse. He sprays them with bug spray or some it almost looks like they get frozen. It's very weird what he sprays them with. Yeah. It's not nice. Leave the ants alone. I'm defending the ants. Come on, people. I love animals. What can I do?
So he's back in the apartment. There was some great transitional shots in this. One of the best just before this. The wind. I think after Alida Valley falls out the window and crashes through a fucking skylight or something. There's a shot of a window blows open and some curtain billowing in the wind. You see the full moon. Which, did we mention? Yeah, there was an eclipse, which peaks when just before Kazanian gets killed, I think. So it's all obviously a very, very magically sort of potent time where this is sort of happening. So
exactly
back in his apartment, and he's sort of looking at the picture, the painting or the drawing or whatever of the building, and sort of puzzling it out. What was that line about under the soles of your shoes? Grabs a pencil and looks at the. I don't even know what's going on there. There's a snake fighting something else, maybe all tangled together, on the detail of the facade of the building.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's fighting.
Yeah, maybe a dragon or some kind of reptile or something like that. Because the ants, he sees the little crack in the floor, lead him to grab a little... Oh, this is a moment that's actually... I wonder if this is a reference which is repeated exactly in Zeta. Gabriel Levy is looking in the grave and finds out that grave's empty.
Yeah.
Again, with a bit of wire, and similar thing in this, he realizes, I could totally get a new crawl space under the floorboards, and gets that letter opener we saw at the beginning in the first shot, and starts sort of prizing under there, and then gets a fucking crowbar or something, starts breaking right through the floor. And then
he's not getting that deposit back.
No, definitely not. And the cat appears and sort of beats him to starting to explore under there. And I love how the exact point he puts his hand down, he finds that scroll, which I neglected to translate what the Latin was here. And I'm sure because I went to a weird school old grammar school where we did Latin and classical studies for a few years until we could choose our options, as we call it, where we could basically elect to not have to do that anymore. There was maybe about 3 people who actually chose to study Latin. But anyway, needless to say, I did not learn very much.
Not one of them.
No, I was definitely not. But yeah, I just love how that scroll is exactly where he puts his arm. And yeah, he lands under there, and then we commence the sort of last act, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest, fucking music cue I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my god, dude! For those of you who have dozed off and watching the movie, you're fucking awake now because Emerson goes bonkers.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of bonkers Emerson moments, I forgot to say, so I was going to mention it. The taxi ride theme. He's talking about this in the Q&A that I mentioned it's on the Arrow disc, and it's available on YouTube or elsewhere. Really worth a watch. He's such a character. I know it's such a sad loss what happened to him. He is so funny, and he's got like Irene Miracle just practically pissing us eyes. And talking about how Argento played him Verdi and said he wanted him to use it, and then Argento was a bit mystified of like, where is it? And he said, it's in the taxi ride thing. But basically what he'd done, he'd thrown it into 5/4. And he does in front of this audience. I won't try and replicate it. He just basically, this dun 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 dun. He said it was trying to replicate the feeling of being bumped around an Italian taxi.
Yes.
Which it really just nails. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. I'm a little ambivalent about Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the band.
I haven't heard very much at all. I listened to a few tracks the other day. My dad mentioned one to me years ago. I don't know what I listened to. Was it like Fanfare of the Common Man? He'd sing the praises of. But yeah, I need to give him a bit of a shot. But I get you. It's can be a bit of a, depending on your taste, hit and miss area sort of.
Yeah, it's. Well, I'm a big Yes fan. Yes, I got to Yes first. I suspect if I'd gotten to Emerson, Lake and Palmer first, I might be singing a different tune, so to speak. Yeah. But and I'm a big King Crimson guy, so out of the big 3, I love those 2.
Yeah.
And I think one of my issues with ELP is not the music at all. The music is insane. Like, it's so dynamic and fucking bonkers. And there's times when I like them musically and like nerding out on the rhythms and the more like aggressive stuff versus King Crimson's pastoral and medieval kind of like kind of stuff. And of course there's Genesis, and if you go down the Genesis train, next thing you know you're got flowers in your hair and you haven't showered in 3 weeks. But like Emerson, Lake and Palmer has some of the most irritating lyrics.
Yeah.
Lyrically, they are so lame sometimes. Look up the cover for Love Beach, and that is all you need to know about Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
I did listen to one the other day, and yeah, I get exactly what you're saying with the lyrics. It was nice and everything. It's just not my taste, and it doesn't help. I'm more of a music person than a song person, anyway. To be honest, if that makes sense.
Same.
I'm going to look this up just while we're again that you said to look up, but something
Love Beach.
Love Beach.
I'm pretty sure it's called Love Beach.
Oh, wow.
Casey needed some open collars down to your navel.
Good grief.
Yeah. And they were the biggest artists. They are what they caused punk rock. Without the excesses of Emerson, Lake and Palmer on tour, we would not have the Sex Pistols and, every other freaking British punk band.
I bet this cover, seeing this cover was probably the moment that did it.
Johnny Rotten said, I have an idea. But anyway, yes, this music, oh my God. So Mark goes all the way down to the freaking bottom of this wonderful building here. He meets the architect, a.k.a. the Phantom of the apartment, as I call him. And of course, it's our guy, Professor Arnold / Varelli, was it? Yeah, Varelli. the guy from Moonstruck. Snap out of it. He tells him all the shit. He admits, like, yada, yada, yada. This is all my doing. I built this shit for them. Kind of regret it now because I'm trapped with them. You almost, for a split second, get a little sympathetic. For a split second. Like, he's not also fucking evil as fuck.
Yeah.
And then he stabs Mark with the frickin' syringe full of God knows what. But I love his line, "To them, we are nothing but dust."
Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
Boy, oh boy. So he's hooked up to a machine to help him speak, and it's like the Phantom of the Paradise. I love that. I think maybe Argento really liked Phantom of the Paradise a lot.
Probably like
since he had to have Jessica Harper,
But yeah, absolutely. Is it probably like the most high-tech thing, apart from some of the locks and all that in this this
absolutely.
movie? And you get this in Suspiria as well. I love how, especially now that we're nearly 50 years away from this kind of like old world feel of it. You don't see a single television or obviously a fucking smartphone or anything, God forbid, in this. It's all just... that's probably the most high-tech thing, the speakers and the reel-to-reel stuff in there, and then the the music class. It's just more like old musty books everywhere, which, like I say, is just if you're a lover of that sort of thing.
There is the deleted scene where Mark he's trying to use his phone but the screen's cracked. sorry to stop you where you're saying that.
Killing my buzz, man.
And I can never kill your buzz.
Oh no.
The dude gets knocked over and he's choking on his own apparatus to help him speak, and he's dying. The whole place is on fire, by the way.
He must be very flexible if he can choke on his own apparatus. Sorry.
Oh, matron.
Yep. Thank you. I'm here all week.
I'm fucking done. We're done. That's it. Between that and the freaking VHS trailer for this stupid shit. Oh my god. So anyway, we finally get to see Veronica Lazar's big nude scene. You get to see all the way down to her fucking bones. No. So there's this amazing bit where the place is burning down. She's talking to him, but she's in the mirror. She's disappeared. And she's in the mirror, and there's lots of just like, all of her, what's the word? I mean, she's just brassy. Like she's taking it to the 10th level, in honor of our recent passing of Wings Hauser. She's fucking Hausering this moment, like just blasting out, and just it's so. I wish that the reveal had come earlier somehow, and just her being evil, because she's so like innocuous but suspicious.
Yes,
because you have to suspect everybody in this movie. But oh my god, I love this turn so much.
She's such a great performance. You kind of wish there was more of it. I totally get that. But I suppose not to say you would dilute the impact of it, but because we're given so little, you know what I mean. Maybe that sort of is it. I don't know.
It's beautiful. And then she smashes the frickin' glass, and she's like, "Yo, our name is Death, bro." I was gonna save this for the end, but I'll talk about this now.
Okay.
First time I watched Inferno, first viewing, way back early 2000s, probably like 2003, 2005. I forget. This was a deal breaker. I thought this was the stupidest thing I'd ever seen. The rubbery looking death costume. It is not great. It gets better. It's better to me now. I get it now.
It's a weird thing, a bit like the although it's different, like the scene the sort of Jason and the Argonaut skeleton in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Seeing that in high def, I think it actually looked better rather than worse. And rewatching it in this 4K 35mm scan last night again, maybe it looked better rather than worse again. And but yeah, I suppose it's still, there's this kind of artifice about it, which you kind of need to sort of make peace with to, so to speak, to not let it bother you. And that aside, just kind of the symbol of it, the more and more I watch it, just makes sense to me again with this sort of medieval sort of worldview of, I guess the whole movie in a way, it's like kind of a big memento mori or something. And it's a spirit where it's kind of like you can vanquish evil. This one more is like, no, ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all fucked.
This is the boss battle. We can't win.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
But now that I, after years of talking myself into it, it's a wood block print. It's like a carving of death. It's
exactly.
the simplest freaking thing in the world. And apparently there was a different design in mind, but they were rushing things. But I don't care. I'm fine with it now. I just wanted to mention that.
No.
And then the whole place comes crumbling down, like how much agency Mark had was 0.
Yeah.
The evil's defeated because it kind of like is destroyed by its own hubris. But it's just a building. It's not like death dies,
Yeah. It'll just it'll relocate somewhere else, presumably.
Mark has to run out of there. Place is exploding. Lee McCloskey said this was the scariest moment in his life.
Yeah.
Because all the crew is behind plexiglass. His stuntman broke his leg or something like that. Or that's what they told him. And they made him run through the explosions. And he said the shrapnel was fucking terrifying. And the look of terror on his face is very real.
Yeah,
very real.
I describe it's like the sound of a fucking Harrier jet or something when the explodes.
Shit. And that's Inferno. He's outside. You have been watching a giallo called Inferno.
Yes, indeed.
Your journey has come to an end. Everything around you will become dark, and someone will take your hand. You'll be pleased, not unhappy. You'll enjoy moments of incredible brightness.
Oh boy. So before we get into the trivia per se, we've been dropping some little gems. And before we get to how we feel about this movie, I just wanted to talk about the crew briefly. Producers, of course, Claudio Argento and Salvatore Argento, could be related to Dario. I'm not sure.
Was it Salvatore? That's his father, isn't it? Was this the last one that he worked on? Oh no, Tenebrae, right?
Yeah. That was the last one that his dad helped out with. And then one of the other producers is a cinematographer named Guglielmo Garoni. He did not produce a whole lot of stuff. This is just one of the people who contributed to the production. I'm not sure how.
All that jazz, camera and electrical department. Okay.
Speaking of gorgeous movies, oh my God.
That's another I still need to see.
It's depressing, but it's very charming. It's a very charming film. I have a big crush on Roy Scheider. I have absolutely no problems admitting I have a man crush on Roy Scheider. He's a beautiful guy. Cinematographer, good old Romano Albani, the guy you mentioned. He was one of those guys who shot some cool American horror movies.
I love
in
how,
the 80s.
Speaking of, when I just went to his page, now the first thing that comes up is Terrorvision.
Yes. Terrorvision, 1986, absolute classic, folks, if you haven't seen that yet. He also shot Troll, OG Troll.
I love Troll. I'm probably alone in this. I actually think I love it more than Troll 2. I'm probably up in
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. As a child, I was completely mesmerized by Troll, the original one. It's a wonderfully made movie.
Yeah.
And it was just popular enough over in Italy, but also it has some Italian crew working on it that the abomination, the perfectly amazing abomination, Troll 2. There's no reason to like Troll 2 better. Sorry, folks. But also, he shot Phenomena, and then he shot Bloodlink, which where is the Blu-ray for Bloodlink? Oh my God, dude. The Michael Moriarty twin giallo.
That's
with
weird.
Sweaty Cameron Mitchell.
I was going to say, because I've not seen it, but that's weird, because Troll obviously has Michael Moriarty in it as well.
Yeah, oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I always remember that because he plays Harry Potter in it, and it's a meme on cycle every few years, him dancing to Blue Cheer Summertime Blues, and I think I subtitled it as Harry Potter and the Summertime Blues, I think is what I called it.
My brain is collapsing in on itself, thank you. It's fucking perfect.
Thank you.
But yes, Bloodlink, dude, if you can't find a copy of it, I'll send you one. It's so fun.
Appreciate that. I need to.
Of course, it's ripped off an old VHS, which is sad because, man, it's just beautiful. It's I think it's Alberto De Martino is the director.
Oh, really? Right. Okay.
Super good. Yeah, I believe so. Of course, we talked about Keith Emerson. He would go on to make the greatest soundtrack to a giallo ever, called Murder Rock Dancing Death in 1984. Absolutely essential.
Oh, that's a point. We spoke about the church a bit. He's one of the people who did the soundtrack for that, of course.
Yeah, and that was a big falling out with Argento. That was the...
Really?
Argento, again, not crediting people. He was not on the poster for the church, apparently.
That sucks.
And when Emerson wrote to Argento asking about it, Argento never spoke to him again.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Bless you. He's such a dick. Argento's such a dick. Oh, God, but anyway, next up we got editor Franco Fraticelli, who did all the greats. That was Argento's go-to guy for editing. Oh my God. Unreal. Just the amount of films he cut is so cool. Love it. Art director is Giuseppe Bassan, who I think we talked about last time.
Yeah, he was another Argento go-to guy. I think he did Suspiria. I'm just going to double check. And neglected to mention, the production design, art direction, what have you in this film, and the just all the stuff littered around the sets and stuff. Like one I noticed last night I'd never seen before, which might have a tied to Sleeping Beauty. In the laboratory where Rose gets it, I think that's even the name of the Emerson music cue of that scene. There's all these like lizards and stuff, again, like in cobwebs and stuff, but there was, I think, some sewing machines in there, which made me think of the spinning wheel in Sleeping Beauty.
Nice. I like that. That's cool. Of course, we have assistant director Lambava, our boy, Lamberto, collabing with Argento for forever, just forever. But this was when Mario Bava, his dad, worked with Argento.
Yeah.
Mario Bava's, according to some of the trivia, he was way more involved than he gets credit for.
Yes. On that Q&A with Irene Miracle, she says that she never really actually worked with Argento because he was laid up with hepatitis for quite a bit of this. So it sounds like, and I think I've heard her say elsewhere possibly, that Mario Bava is who directed her, maybe exclusively. Now, there's a bit of ambiguity, varying things about. A lot of people have said for years that Bava directed that legendary underwater flooded ballroom scene, but that seems now to have been discredited, and it was a guy called Gian Lorenzo Battaglia, sorry if I got that slightly wrong, who did the underwater stuff on Inferno, was kind of a go-to guy for underwater photography. He directed some films himself that I'm now forgetting what the hell they are. I'm going to have to look this up. Credited to underwater photography. And what the fuck did he direct? Popeye. He didn't direct Popeye 1980, but he was in the department for that. He progressed to be cinematographer on Demons and Demons 2, Miami Gold, You'll Die at Midnight, Delirium, the La Casa 4 Witchcraft. Oh my God. I photoshopped this once, and I think I sent it to you, a film called, and we threatened to cover it, didn't we, from 1990 called Lambada, which I photoshopped Lambada into that Dancing with a Lovely Lady, if my memory serves.
Folks,
not Photoshop. I can't use Photoshop. I used MS Paint. What am I talking about?
If a freaking Blu-ray of this ever comes out, because the only thing keeping me for us from covering the Italian Lambada film that was cashing in on the Lambada craze is the copy I found looks like dog shit. And I think it even has some untranslated Italian parts because it was one of those Italian-American productions. Dude, it looks so fucking awful. I can't wait.
I can't wait for Vinegar Syndrome to rescue it from obscurity.
But I love the way, I love this movie's bridge between the old school Bava, from Black Sunday, passing the torch on to Argento and passing the torch on to his son. I absolutely, we adore good old Lamberto, our boy. We love him.
That's a point, actually, and credit to Brad here for, I was rereading some of the research he helped with on a blog post I did for Inferno's 35th anniversary, so 10 years ago. Let me just find this. He consulted his copy of the Tim Lucas Mario Bava film, All the Colours of the Dark, and basically cleared up a bit more about Bava's contribution, which was including glass mat paintings, maquettes, miniature sculptures, and in-camera tricks such as the mirror shot in the finale. Apparently his grandson Roy also helped with the maquettes, so this basically means obviously that 3 generations of Bavas worked on the film.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's wild. So I have lots of trivia, folks. I had to tap out. There was not sure how many pages I filled for Suspiria, but I couldn't go on.
Just before you get into that, and on that note, I will say my sort of reach extended my grasp for this, my attention span, energy levels, etc. Because there's other stuff like, I suppose the occult references of, Fulcanelli and all that. I did listen to, I'd love to get a physical copy of it to see all the plates and stuff, but I don't know the first thing about alchemy, so I felt out of my depth looking into the mystery of the cathedral, which we talked about. For more on that, listen to the episode on the church, where we talk a bit more about that. And related to that, Richard Stanley and it being on the trail of the 3 mothers, which if you want to find that, let me see, best way to search for it. I think it started on his MySpace, a series of things called On the Trail of the 3 Mothers, where he really went off the deep end with, after first being introduced to, I think there was a movie-thon of Argento's films at the Scala Cinema, where they were like 6 in one night, and he was basically staying there to sleep at the time because he crash landed from South Africa, fleeing from military conscription, and basically saw all of this for the first time in some kind of like drugged out haze or whatever, in and out of sleep. And it leads him down this rabbit hole, to say the very least, that spans years and includes some weird characters like in Argento himself. There's one point where he's talking to John Voight, I think, as your Argento, and it's years since I've read the whole thing, so I can't remember a lot of it now. But if you want to send yourself slightly insane thinking about this film, go and read that. Honestly, you may have to put it through the Internet Archive Wayback Machine. Again, if you struggle with that, you want to read it, let me know, and I'll send you the link. But my point is, with this, I kind of want to reread a lot of that, but in the end, I thought, I'm going to get too bogged down here and I'll focus more on the film itself. And as with Suspiria, we could spend a year talking about this. There's so much to dive into.
It would be even longer for this one, because it seems to me there's even more information about this film than the others.
Yeah, exactly.
I did Alan Jones, went back to Alan Jones, Profundo Argento's, his book. So yes, Argento was completely miserable during the writing of this film. He was hot on the heels of the success of Suspiria, and he was, in America and met good old George Romero, and they developed a relationship, and he would co-produce Dawn of the Dead. And while he was in America working with Romero and helping him with Dawn of the Dead, he was just, I'm making my next movie in America. I have to make my next movie in America. And New York. And he ended up, or this was Dario Nicolodi's idea to film in New York. I don't know. They both claim it. Exactly. He went to New York in winter and holed up in a hotel while suffering from hepatitis.
Oh God.
And wrote this frickin' movie. And it was totally miserable. His letters to his family weren't getting through, so he thought he was going to die there and nobody would know. But yes, he wrote under these conditions.
This makes so much sense, like, for how kind of morbid this film is in a lot of ways and how death obsessed it is.
Yep. So production started on May 21st, 1979. They shot for 14 weeks in Rome and New York at a budget of $3 million, which is some big money for back then, especially for an Italian production.
Yeah.
So the first problems he had were with Fox Studios, the American distributors. They're going to fund this thing. They gave him so much grief over casting, he never wanted to deal with, because he got burned enough by Paramount over the Four Flies on Grey Velvet distribution bullshit, which is ridiculous. We're lucky to even get to see that movie nowadays.
Oh, well, yeah.
But yes, Fox started to give him a lot of shit about casting, and they kept parading all kinds of frickin' young actors for the parts, and it was driving him frickin' nuts. And finally, they made their decision with Irene Miracle and Leigh McCloskey. Leigh McCloskey was supposed to be James Woods.
Yes.
James Woods was going to be in Inferno, which I did not know until researching this time. I'd never heard that before.
I mean, it would be an interesting alternate universe to visit to see that, but the energy of it will be so different. And I can't imagine him. No, maybe he could have played like kind of a more passive protagonist. I've seen somebody or name on Twitter that kind of annoyed me where they said, "Oh, it's a shame Lee McCluskey's such a pansy," and I thought,
Stop. That's terrible.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
My God.
It's and related to that. So I'll just mention Argento's direction to him in the interview on the Blue Underground thing. He told him to play him like he's not really connected, like he's in a daze or a strange haze or something, which does fit and again speaks to the sort of dreamlike, passive nature of the feel of it and him as a quote protagonist, or whatever.
And another person was Nancy Allen as in the role of Rose. That would have also been fucking crazy. Irene Miracle tells a weird story about how she was in Kenya and she was forced to leave because of some political situation over there. She had the clothes on her back and a toothbrush when she fled to Rome, and that's when she auditioned for the part. As you mentioned, William Lustig of Maniac fame. He was so excited to get to work with Argento. He was a fixer in New York. He was arranging camera equipment, lighting equipment and stuff. And he could not help interrogating Argento about his movies.
Oh, but of course, yeah.
And he was so knowledgeable about Argento's films that, of course, Argento was flattered by this. And he was going to make a movie called Movie Maniac. And it was going to be what Maniac became. But there was talk of Goblin doing the soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
And Daria Nicolodi starring.
Oh,
it didn't work out.
I remember that.
Yeah, because she ended up doing something else. But what was who did the music for Maniac? I have no clue. I haven't watched that in years.
I have only seen it once, and it was relatively recently. Now, apologies if this is in your notes, but I'll just mention it.
Oh, please.
Just in case I forget. The helicopter shots in Maniac feels like, I don't know whether it's meant to be this omniscient sort of like evil hovering around looking for prey, like the Maniac in it. Apparently was some footage he shot for Argento that was never used in the film, if memory serves. But
wow.
The music for Maniac, so I tell you, before I actually ever watched Maniac, I'd heard that, Go Into a Showdown song. I'd heard that about 10 years before I ever watched the film. I loved it so much. It's a guy called Jay Chataway who done a lot of stuff with Star Trek on TV, apparently.
Nice. Yep. And he would do the music for Maniac Cop. Or did he? Yeah, he did the music for Maniac Cop and Silver Bullet. Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, cool.
The rat story is wonderful. While they're terrorizing Kazanian with the rats, it was Mario, Lambava, and Argento throwing rats on this poor actor. They imported 1,500 some super rat from China, and these were pretty aggressive rats, and they were trying not to get bit while they were doing this scene. There was a moment where they weren't getting a scared enough reaction from the guy who plays Mr. Pitioff. So Lambava's like, leave me alone with him. I'll get him to get scared. And so they laughed, and all of a sudden they could hear these blood-curdling screams coming from the actor, and they're like, what did you do? And he wouldn't tell them what he did.
Oh, my God.
Ridiculous. I love it. But yes, that studio was infested with rats for years. Like many, many, many years later, those rats bred with the rats that were there, creating some super rat they couldn't get rid of. And Argento was always scared that people would find out that he was the guy who did the D. Paulus Studios. That was him. That rat infestation was his. Of course, Fox got cold feet about distribution after some managerial changes. Which is, as bad as a writer's strike when it comes to fucking up movies.
Yeah.
Although I am pro-writer. I'm pro-writer. I'm saying didn't want to come off as like Mr. Union Buster over here.
Oh, yeah. You have to be careful. You don't end up getting hashtag cancelled or anything.
That's right.
Yeah, mentioned, I forget where she was in the company at the time, somebody called Sherry Lansing, who Argento was watching a preview with, and he said she kept grabbing his arm, and he thought, oh, this is a good sign, but she said she disliked it, and it was basically too strong for the American market.
Whatever. We could take it.
Yeah.
So, yes, Alan Jones talked to good old Keith Emerson, and this was some fun stuff from Keith, because Argento, his relationship with Goblin had soured a little bit, or he wanted to just go in a different direction than Goblin for this movie. Either way, he was a massive prog rock fan and chose Emerson because of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Of course, Emerson had never heard of Argento before. He had no idea about his cult following. And so a jet-lagged Keith Emerson flying from the Bahamas to Rome and thrust into a theater and shown Suspiria Deep Red and Four Flies in Grey Velvet back to back.
Oh my God.
So he told, Argento told him to do something completely different. And of course he gave him complete creative freedom on the project. Or Emerson says the instructions were lost in translation. Either way, I felt like I could do what I wanted.
Yeah.
He composed on piano. He did get instructions on using the piece from Verdi's Nabucco, and he, of course, said he's going to do his own arrangement of it, hence the 5/4 time. Emerson thinks the music is romantic and pretty. I disagree. It's fucking terrifying.
I mean, yeah, romantic and pretty until it isn't, I guess. You know, like maybe,
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely.
Lietta got me the Deep Red soundtrack on vinyl. I found a very cheap copy of Inferno on record. I don't know if that old print, that old version is still cheap, but if you can find Inferno on LP, go for it. Yeah. I found doing chores to it is horrible. Don't. I had to turn it off. I was cleaning and I had the music playing. And I got mad as fuck because it was making me really freaked out.
I said to you, who were running behind a little bit, I was listening back, well, just through it, and I tend to skip around when I listen to it a bit for the reasons you're sort of saying.
Yeah.
But it was quite funny when I was getting ready, and was it Bookbinder's Delight, I think it's called Q, where you said quite rightly, it sort of anticipates some of the Evangelion soundtracks. And I think I said to you, didn't I? It's like, because it's very like, well, it was out because it made me think I wasn't trying to sort my recording space out. It was more like I'm trying to flee from a killer. But anyway,
right.
It lit a fire under my ass to sort of get moving.
Killer was coming for you.
Exactly.
At the premiere, Argento is completely freaking out, and Emerson was like, "Hey man, take a sip of my flask of cognac."
Yeah.
And of course, Argento downed the entire thing and then ran out to make his speech, which Emerson was confused how he could even talk after that much cognac. And then the audience went nuts at the premiere. The audience went completely batshit crazy, and Emerson said that he couldn't believe the reaction. But he was so happy that people were like reacting to his music and like really like whooping it up. Because he'd always wanted to get into film composing, he was very happy to get to do more film composing, and Inferno and Argento opened those doors for him. And just a little bit from a good old Dario Nicolodi. Oh man, she's great in an interview. She was still angry with Argento about Suspiria and how he just refused to acknowledge her, and also the whole bullshit with the casting, which of course she wanted to play Susie. And when she saw what a hopeless mess that Argento was while writing Inferno, she caved and helped him out. And instead of a writing credit, he bought her a trip to the Caribbean. She says that in the interview with good old Alan Jones, she'll get the last laugh because the third film will never happen without her. And she says, and I quote, "Maybe I'll give the story to Tim Burton."
Yeah.
What? Like, was that a sticking point? Did like Argento hate Tim Burton or something?
I guess so, yeah.
We got more from Daria here. This is from Spaghetti Nightmares, the Bible of Hell of This is the Doom Show, by Luca M. Palmerini and Gaetano Mistretta. Would love a new edition of that frickin' book someday, an expanded edition. That'd be wonderful. But yeah, in that one, Daria Nicolodi in her interview says Lee McCloskey's a real fool.
Oh dear.
She takes credit for the alchemy, occultism, and romanticism of the movie. She had a funny thing where she said that Suspiria is the best-selling VHS of all time in America, which that's not even remotely true, but I love that she said that.
I think your friend who collects the Titanic VHSs will probably have some word to say about that.
I think that was a mistranslation, but it was very funny.
Yeah.
So yes, she wanted Inferno set in New York and Rome because, as she says, New York is the capital of the world and Rome is the most Gothic city of all. She says that Carl Jung felt the seething movement of Rome's corpses underground.
Nice.
The interviewer says to her that the effects in the movie, in Inferno, are weak. That's one of the problems with the film. She agrees, and says that she wishes that all the effects had been done by Mario Bava instead of, Lois Bitter, whatever. And that's all from Daria Nicolodi.
I have one quote from her. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing, but the last thing that I watched last night, from the Arrow Blu-ray interview with her, I've got a quote from her. It says, I pushed Dario, this is echoing what you said, I pushed Dario toward the fantastic, the occult, alchemy, and fantasy in general, an area he had never covered before. I think this was after he'd found doing Jolly a bit stale or what have you. And I like this at the end, though, and it's on a positive note, the last thing I wrote down. She may have shit-talked him after this. But anyway, it made me happy as he totally realized my dreams within the genre.
Nice. That's beautiful. I love it. To bring us back down to earth, I have the author's review of Inferno in the back of Spaghetti Nightmares. The worst part about Spaghetti Nightmares are the reviews in the back. If they're not spoiling the ending of the Giallo, then they have some really interesting opinions. But to summarize, they say, Inferno, an inconclusive symphonic poem on evil and death. But the overall result is disappointing. What?
You wonder how they, because this is, like you sort of implying, this is presumably quite an old book now, and you wonder how they saw it. Whether they saw it in a theatre, whether they saw it on VHS. I wonder.
And that's the thing. Alan Jones, this is his favorite Argento.
Oh, nice.
And he was there when it was in theaters.
Cool.
So he saw it in theaters. So I think that really would have affected you. But yeah, I wonder.
Oh, yeah.
Last page of notes, the new reference point for this Italian stuff going forward on any episode. Italian Gothic horror films, 1980 and 1989 by Roberto Curti. Roberto Curti is the all-star, dude. He feels like the final word on this shit. He has some wonderful trivia stuff here. While he was in New York, Argento wrote a 267-page screenplay for this film, divided into 99 scenes.
Wow.
Holy shit. Working with Daria Nicolodi during all this, produced this massive freaking volume. I would love to read that.
Same.
But Dardano Sacchetti, very successful writer of Italian screenplays and wonderful, wonderful genre guy. He was called in as a quote-unquote sparring partner to hang out with Argento, and he says he was paid very well to help with one scene. But mainly he was there to boost Argento's confidence. So Argento's like, am I ruining my career? So they paid Sacchetti to just bounce ideas off of him. And he's like, no, dude, this is your thing. Do it. They filmed the Central Park scene first. They encountered lots of trouble with those pesky little things called unions. And then they fled back to Rome. Some of the effects had to be scrapped because they were too ambitious. One in particular I'll talk about later. They were going to try doing video effects. So if you've seen, what's a good example of this? The Antichrist, 1974.
No, I've not seen it.
Speaking of Alberto De Martino. And Hausu, 1977. They would make the effects on video because it was easier to create effects. And then they would film the VHS and then splice it into the movie and do other special effects. I'm very technical, folks.
So, or did they do the whole thing like this on the Zappa 200 Motels as well? think that.
Yes,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Argento and the company were like, this doesn't look good. But this is part of the reason why the film is so disjointed. That 267-page screenplay got cut to shit, which is why there's so many weird stuff and non sequiturs in the movie. Veronica Lazar didn't know she was the villain until near the end of the shoot. They were keeping everything, all of the spoilers under lock and key. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you're the third mother. And she's like, oh, all right, let's do it.
Brilliant.
Let's see. Okay, here's the shot that was insane that they cut because they couldn't get the effects to work. There's going to be a shot where Death, a.k.a. The mother, in the black gloves, would pick up a snow globe of New York and shake it, and this would cause a thunderstorm to take place over the city, over the skyline, and a lightning bolt was going to strike the apartment building at the beginning.
Oh, man.
To kind of like set everything in motion.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I love it. So yes, as we were talking about the color scheme, Argento and Albani, they didn't want Inferno to be a kaleidoscope of color like Suspiria, so they settled on the palette of pinks and blues. And then the real red scenes would pop even more if they kept them to a minimum, instead of making the whole freaking movie red. Roberto Curti says that Emerson was hand-chosen by Argento to help make a rock opera on film, a young person's film. He impressed Argento very much by watching the film, seated at a piano, and as they ran the film back and forth and got the timing down with the scenes, he just sat there and just wrote sheet music, just composing while writing, and Argento had never seen anyone work that fast musically before. Okay, the weirdest thing for me was as Kazanian is drowning in Central Park in the delicious lake filled with rats, he was going to have a vision of the Charon, the ferryman who transports souls to the dead. He was going to have a vision of that going by while he was dying. But they were like, we don't have time, and also this lake isn't deep enough for a fucking boat. They didn't do it. Which, I mean, I'm very disappointed reading that. I'm like, dude, they could have just filmed something somewhere else and thrown it in. It would have been beautiful. Okay, last but not least, thank you for your patience. From all the books here. After the premiere, lukewarm reception for Inferno. It did not do well at all after this initial excitement and, the distribution problems that we mentioned, not really getting out there for a long time. People couldn't see the movie. A lot of it is blamed on people wanting Argento to make thrillers again, which I don't know. I feel like after Suspiria, people were ready, but who knows? It's very interesting. Why the fuck wouldn't people be into this?
I mean, I guess because, obviously there's a ton of overlap with Suspiria, but I think I was thinking about this yesterday, and I'll get into it more when we talk about how we feel about the film.
Yeah.
I'll just say it now, and I kind of almost hate saying this now because it's a bit of a cliche and it feels almost like a bit of a lame or like borderline pretentious thing to say that maybe Suspiria is a better movie, but maybe this is a better film. Not to say that both are complete art. But and talking about this being a young person's film, I don't really think so as much. I think this is more adult and definitely more. Sort of speaking to this, I think I've gone through much of my trivia already because I've sort of been sprinkling it sort of throughout. But from that Argento interview on the Arrow Blu-ray, it says it was designed as a fairy tale a fairy tale designed for adults. It evolved from a study I did on demonic alchemy, bit of light reading there. Influence of cathedrals and their mysteries. I wanted it to be full of puzzles. Fox didn't like lack of answers. Sorry, my note's breaking down now.
No, I know what you're trying to say.
There's a lot of, and I think this works to its strength. Like, there's bits like some of the drop threads or unexplored avenues. They're great. I forgot what podcast it was, but there was an interview with Stephen Throw where he's talking about his favourite music from movies. One of the films he talked about was Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and one of them was this, truly a man after my own heart. And he talks about, in some ways, why he prefers Inferno or finds it more inexhaustible. Could be paraphrasing, but that was kind of the sentiment. And there's this great bit towards the end where Mark he opens into some passageway that he looks down, and he doesn't go that way. He closes the door and he moves on. And he says, I wonder what would have happened if he'd gone that way instead. You know, and the film has kind of got a lot of stuff like that in it that just is, it's just great stuff that your imagination can take hold of and just sort of fill in the blanks, you know.
Yeah, totally. That's sort of, I have a similar thought. I have a similar thought about that. But yeah, did you have any other sick bits from the trivia?
So, I mean, some of it's not even really true, but just a comment that Keith Emerson made in that Q&A about, just had me really fucking howling, about Dario Miracle too, about how he basically made it, you'd have to watch it, but he made a comment about a wet t-shirt contest involving her, which she was not bothered by. She just found it hysterical. Which,
oh my God. He's such a charmer, that guy.
he has the audience in the palm of his hand. It really is such a great watch, especially with.
I will watch that.
I don't want to dwell on it too much because it's such a sad story what happened to him. Just briefly, I suppose, if you know how I think he was having some problem with his hands and playing, and he had a lot of mental health problems. Which, what a funny guy he was, and just his insane talent. I mean, really, some people have said he was like one of the greatest musicians of, you know, piano, keyboard, organ, whatever, since maybe the greatest of his generation. He was just like top of his fucking game, really.
So the way I feel about this movie, cat annoyance and rat annoyance notwithstanding, is like I don't watch this enough. If you hear the outtakes of me ruining the plot earlier, then yeah, you really know I don't watch this enough. It's one of those things I'm so happy every time I fire this up. It's overwhelming, the amount of color. Even in just the first 10 minutes are so overwhelming, sensory-wise. The score is an absolute triumph. It's the bombastic synths, the 90-piece orchestra they had for this movie. Then it just drops into this gentle piano moments that are masterful. You have to watch this with the sect as like strangeness and like what is going on. I love the dread. Then to talk about the sickly sweet smell of the building, but they blame it on a nearby bakery. The little finger cut in the taxi cab where she gets poked with that sharp spot there, little needle. The classical music, everything is just fucking insane. But I have a question.
Okay.
2 questions. One, what if you only ever saw this movie? What if you watched this, but you hadn't seen Suspiria yet? You saw this first. Follow-up question, did Suspiria need a sequel? Or any sequels? Not to say this movie isn't great or important, but what if we just never got it? You know?
Well, this is a bit in Brad when he had a brilliant analogy for talking about the Mother of Tears, and it syncs year-wise with... He was talking about Star Wars and said, because you have, what is it? New Hope, 77, and Suspiria.
Yeah.
Inferno, Empire Strikes Back, 1980. And then it would be like if George Lucas had waited, 27 years to make
Return of the Jedi.
But I mention it because it made me think of like, well, Star Wars could have been it ends on this kind of hopeful ending and all of that. It's one of the reasons I love Suspiria, that, you know, evil's defeated and all of that, and it ends on the same way. This is very much like, you know, the Empire or the bitch strikes back or whatever. The bitches strike back even. It could have been completely self-contained. What if I'd only ever seen this? I would still be... I'll give another, speaking of fire sort of motifs. As I said to you when we talked about Twin Peaks, had seen Twin Peaks Fire Walk with me before I ever saw the series.
Wow.
While the stuff which would have... I don't know, just because I was already into David Lynch, any of the stuff that's not explained or whatever, or not fleshed in terms of exposition.
You fill in the blanks.
To quote, you know, the title of his autobiography, you know, he's big into the idea of why he loves ambiguity. It gives you and him room to dream, and this film really does that. So I would have just been enamored of it anyway, you know, just on the level of atmosphere and of mystery and so on and so forth, I think. And just as aesthetics as well, of course.
What cracks me up about this movie is Inferno does more for the lore of the three mothers than Suspiria does.
Yes.
Like, this movie creates the trilogy, like whereas the first movie doesn't create the trilogy so much, you know, like I think that this movie and its growing obsession with it over the years is why Argento could never have not made The Third Mother,
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel.
Yeah, totally. Although you do wonder if he could have done it more quickly in quick succession instead of doing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm glad, and it was maybe the breath of fresh air everybody needed. Maybe he pushed that style. Don't get me wrong, I've not seen it for a long time, but I love Mother of Tears. I'll just say that right now.
Yeah.
But what would that have looked like if he'd made whatever it would have been called? The third one back in 1982 or 1985 or whatever in the
Sure.
What would that have looked like? Would it have stuck the landing for a trilogy?
What if he did it instead of Trauma? Which I love Trauma, but what if he'd done it in 1990? It's very interesting because everyone is so sequel happy forever. Especially Italy, where you had shit being retitled all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts on this movie? I'm sure you have a few.
I suppose in general to say how I feel about it, and I'll try not to repeat myself too much from Suspiria, like that. This is an all-timer. Some days of the week it's like a favourite horror film, stroke film of the time. It just, but shout out to Scott, by the way, and to David, who I believe this is both their favourite Argentos, and they're more, I as you know, am famously indecisive and kind of non-committal. If I was pushed to pick one, it might still be Suspiria, but I kind of can't do it. It's kind of tied, really. What I'll say is they just scratch different itches. This appeals to me more aesthetically and intellectually than Suspiria does, whereas I think Suspiria in other ways is closer to my heart, if that makes sense. That's not to say I don't utterly love this film, but they're just, despite the overlap, they're just different. And that comes down to the music and the choice of the colour palettes and approach. This is kind of a bit of it has its bombastic moments, but it's, there's more of that quiet horror in this, which appeals to me a lot more as I get older. It's not to say Suspiria doesn't have moments of that and more relative subtlety too. So, yeah. But no, I think we could just go on and on, really, couldn't we? And I know we're already thinking about the best part of 2.5 hours and we've exceeded the length of the film. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it, I think.
Nice. I love it, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is, we'll never see anything like this again,
No.
This is incredible. And hell, I didn't see it because I was just 4 years old. Stupid. I'm so stupid.
I wasn't even born yet, so I was even stupider.
Oh, you're a Ghostbusters baby.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, and that it made me think actually of Ghostbusters a bit with that. You saying the shaking of the snow globe and the lightning over New York again, and all the great. That's one of my favourite bits in Ghostbusters. It appeals definitely to my imagination. All the sort of occult stuff. I forget his name now. The occultist who'd made this insane. He could have been the same architect actually. As he could have almost been a Morelli skyscraper. I forget his name.
Oh yeah,
Ivo Shandor. That's it. Yeah, he was probably went to the same architecture school or whatever as well. I guess
he definitely had a foursome with the witches, but at what price? What price?
Yeah, exactly.
And on that note, folks, thank you for listening. Simon, thank you once again for running the gauntlet.
No, thank you. And again, thank you to Mark as well and to Glenn.
Yes. Oh, man. Don't worry. Mark will get his due when we cover Mark of the Witch, a movie that may have been named after him.
Brilliant.
Bye, folks.
Good night.
Folks, thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you'd like to write into the show, send an email to doomedmoviethon@gmail.com or hit us up at doomedmoviethon on Instagram or at doomedmoviethon on Twitter or at doomedmoviethon at Discord, or go to Hello This Is the Doomed Show on Facebook and message us there. If you want more Hello This Is the Doomed Show, go to doomedmoviethon.com and click the podcast button for the archive, or go to YouTube and look up Doomed Moviethon and you'll find the classic episodes of Hello, This is the Doomed Show. And if that's still not enough, I have written some books, about my love of movies over on Amazon.com. Just look up Richard Glenn Schmidt and you'll find Giallo Meltdown, a Movie-Thon Diary, Giallo Meltdown 2, Cinema Somnambulist, or Doomed Movie-Thon, the book. Hello, This is the Doom Show is a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network. Go to legionpodcast.com and check out the other great shows over there.